why you bring the color. Wherever you are, wherever you go, baby, I will go.
Hi everybody, it's Kai. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new speed build video. And today we are going to be building a bachelor's loft in the world of Newcrest, and it is the world that came with the base game, so it is the world that is an empty world. But before I talk about the build, I just want to announce that I have reached 1,000 followers on Instagram, so I decided to do a shell challenge. Where you can find the details on my Instagram page, which is linked down in the description. And if you choose to enter this shell challenge, you can download this shell up on the gallery under my ID, which is simmerkhai. And I just want to remind that when you upload the build, your completed build up to the gallery or Instagram, please include the hashtag simmerkhai1k. And the deadline for this shell challenge is the 7th of March 2021. And just in case if you fail to find the post on Instagram that I talked about this shell challenge, I highlighted it in my profile, so it's easy to find when you go to my profile on Instagram. But yeah, I really hope you guys, if you do decide to enter the shell challenge, I really look forward to looking at your wonderful builds. And the deadline again is 7th of March 2021. So let's just talk about this build. I decided to build a bachelor's loft just because I wanted to try something new to this channel, and I don't think I make a lot of tiny houses for this channel, so I decided to try one. And it is a modern theme loft, so but I personally myself, I don't prefer like modern type of builds because I'm not really good at doing this type of builds. But I really hope you guys will like it, even if it doesn't look so appealing. But I hope you guys really like it. But this build only contains one bedroom, and it is fitted for a bachelor, and I actually wanted to do a loft for like a teen, but I didn't do so because I'm not entirely sure why, but I just changed my mind and decided to do a bachelor's loft instead. Oh yeah, I think it's because when I play tested my build and made the machinimas for this video, the sim that I use is Emil, so like I actually wanted to do a girly type of teen loft, but I didn't end up doing so, so I decided to change it to a bachelor's loft instead. But as you can see, the structure is pretty much simple, and I decided to try for the tier 2 tiny home, which is the tiny living pack, but I failed to do so, so I just shifted it to a tier 3 tiny home. I think a tier 3 tiny home is a small house if I'm not mistaken, but I really wanted to do a tiny home instead of a small house. But yeah, I didn't manage to do so because my building skills, like, once I get carried away, it goes out of topic. But anyways, you can see that the structure is already came together pretty quickly, and it's just a couple of boxes here and there that I use from the wall tool. And the theme of this house is basically, I mean, the color scheme is basically natural wood tones and natural colors like that brown and that dark brown and white. It is not very colorful, but it just looks quite modern and aesthetically pleasing. But I really like those windows from the Eco Lifestyle because even though it's the same windows as the base game, that I think it's the same type of windows, but I think the Eco Lifestyle windows, they have a lot more swatches. But I think personally it shouldn't have been like that because like you already have it in the base game, so why do you have to have it in the Eco Lifestyle of the same window? Maybe I'm wrong, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But I also used the Get Famous window down there. You see in front of the I think that is a grass plot or something that I used using the platform tool. I raised a platform and put like those Hawaiian grasses that came with the Island Living pack, to make it look like it is planted over there and it doesn't look like a regular rectangle pot. But anyways, I'm working on the interior now, and the interior for the wallpaper is pretty much simple. I used the same color, the same wallpaper from the outside and inside, and I just changed the swatch of the wallpaper. And for this build, I managed to squeeze in a washing machine and also a dryer in the bathroom. And for the kitchen and the living room, they are placed in the same like space, so the kitchen is next to the living room. You will see that after this, but here on I'm decorating the kitchen. It is just one strip of counters with a stove and also a I think that's a dishwasher. I don't know, I don't have one of those, but I put it there. And at first I didn't put a sink because I figured that your sim could use a lot more counter space and use the dishwasher instead. But I think I will be putting a sink, I'm not so sure. But yeah, I didn't want to put a sink just because this kitchen already has a dishwasher. And I also play tested this build, and this build works perfectly fine. My sim could like roam around freely, and that cupboard you see that I put there, I will be removing that because when I play tested it with the cupboard over there, my sim couldn't go upstairs. So in the end I removed that cupboard, and everything works perfectly fine. Even though the space between the kitchen and the living room is a bit tiny, it works perfectly fine. But I also ended up moving the that dining table to under the stairs because I wanted to squeeze in a shelf in the living room just to make it a bit more cluttered and a bit more like lived in. But when I put the dining table under the stairs, it also works fine, so you don't have to worry about your sim not getting like the space they need or them getting blocked by anything. And you saw that I squeezed down that TV, the Penguin TV, down to a size and put it on this Eco Lifestyle shelf. And I just want to say that I'm really happy because when I squeezed that down and play tested this build, the TV actually works, and I didn't expect that. But maybe it was me, like I didn't know it for like since I played it. I don't know. When I sized that TV down, it works perfectly fine, so your sim can watch the TV in the living room over here. And yeah, everything just works perfectly fine. And as you can see, I imagine that the sim living here, the Bachelor, he completed his studies and maybe wants to do a postgraduate studies. I know my imagination is a bit like wide, but yeah, I ended up putting a lot of those books, and I also ended up putting a little bag over there. And I imagine that the sim living here is maybe a postgraduate student. So yeah, I squeezed in also a study table for this particular section, which is the bed that is on the loft. So when your sim enters the house, when they go up the stairs, they automatically go into their bedroom instead of it having a door to do so. And yeah, the bedroom is pretty much simple as well. For the window, I used the Moschino stuff pack window, and I think I will be changing the swatch to like a plain gray swatch. But I did that off camera. But I also want to mention, like for the kitchen just now, I actually put in a couple of skylights for the roofing of the kitchen section, so it kind of looks more modern. Because when I played around with the roofs and wanted to put in at the back of the house, the roof trims kept going into the house, so like it's not really nice to look at. So I decided to just put it a couple of those glass ones that came with the island living, if I'm not mistaken. And here you can see that I was play testing this build while building it, so I didn't have to repeatedly go into the menu and then build and then menu and then live mode. So I decided to just play test it straight and just make sure that the build works perfectly fine. But as for the bathroom is like overlooking the stairs, so there I put a couple of stained glass windows instead of the normal clear ones, so that nobody can see your sim showering. I'm not sure if it works like that, but that was what I pictured in my head. And the bathroom is pretty simple with a toilet, a sink, and also a washing machine and dryer. And I also ended up putting that basket under the table, but I wasn't sure like how your sim had to wash the clothes, so I just put it under there. But the machine works perfectly fine. And for the back part of the house, which is the backyard, I included a little pool at one of the corners, and also a like outdoor dining area. But for the back part of the house, I didn't really know how to decorate it, so I ended up putting that bush that came with the Jungle Adventure, and also a lot of those wall decorations that came with Eco Lifestyle. And I think this is the first time the backyard for a modern house of my build looks kind of nice in my opinion. But yeah, I think it looks okay. Not bad but not good. And I ended up putting a platform and those wheat over there everywhere in this build. But yeah, I think I like how this build turned out, and I would kindly appreciate it if you guys gave me your feedback or something. But I also ended up putting a barbecue area, and I decorated the front part using these, I think Get Together, they are from Get Together, they are under the carpets section of the build by mode, and they are stone carpets. So yeah, I really like the outcome of the build, even though it's minimal and just doesn't look really like outstanding, but it looks fine for me. But do let me know what you guys think in the comments, of course. But I also included a little basketball net over here with, I think that is a pot maker or something. I'm not so sure. It's from the Eco Lifestyle pack, but I've never played Eco Lifestyle properly up until that point that I make my own like creations from that using the gameplay. But I'm not sure if that garden thing works. I'm not sure, but please let me know if you do know. But I was adjusting this fencing, and I wanted to include the platform of weeds again for the side, but I like couldn't, because when I put the platform, the garden fencing would then be raised a bit. So instead I just used a normal garden fence tool to make it look like that. But also at the front, I included a couple of pots for gardening, and yeah, I think you guys will like it, even though I don't know. Tell me if you guys like it. But anyways, we are going to be approaching the end of the build, so if you do like this build, please give this video a little thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!